At the beginning of the movie, we are introduced to a teenage boy named Miles Morales. A Brooklyn kid with a backpack full of spray cans, headphones glued to his ears, and one small problem. The weekend is over, and tomorrow he has to go back to school. But hold that thought, because within 3 days, this kid will watch his hero die 3 feet in front of him, get handed the biggest promise of his life, and break it almost immediately. How he claws his way back is the whole movie. So stick with me. We learn early that Miles goes to a prestigious boarding school, so he only comes home on weekends. His life is classes, tests, and other people's expectations. He's also a massive Spider-Man fan. Things with his father are tense. But his uncle, Aaron Davis? Different story. Aaron gets him. So when Aaron sees his nephew's latest piece and realizes the kid is genuinely gifted, he takes him into an abandoned subway tunnel, a hidden playground for artists, one enormous blank wall waiting. Miles gets to work, and what he paints is beautiful. Aaron tells him he's got something real. Then Aaron's phone rings, and it's time to leave. And this is the exact second everything changes. Because while Miles packs up, a spider drops onto his hand and bites him. And it is very much not a normal spider. Something inside him starts rearranging itself. But Miles doesn't think twice. He smacks it away and goes home to sleep. The next morning, small things stop making sense. His clothes fit weird, he grew overnight. At school, he tries to talk to the new girl and his hand welds itself into her hair. And the way he escapes is the funniest scene in the film. After that, it snowballs. Everything he touches sticks. He panics, bolts down the hallway, and ends up sprinting straight up a wall. He grabs a comic book and it won't let go. And that's when it hits him. Everybody knows these powers. They're Spider-Man's. But he can't accept it. There has to be another explanation. So he goes back to that tunnel for the spider. He finds it, and it's glowing. Before he can process that, he hears something massive shaking the earth beneath the city. He follows the noise and sees Spider-Man himself, the real one, Peter Parker, fighting the Green Goblin far below New York. Miles stays hidden, watching. Then he slips. Spider-Man catches him mid-fall, and the moment Peter gets close, he knows. This kid has been bitten too. Peter is stunned. He thought he was the only one. There's no time to explain. The giant machine they're fighting over is a super collider, and Peter says it has to be destroyed tonight, because if it keeps running it will tear reality open. Peter goes for it. He's seconds from plugging in the drive that kills the machine when the Prowler smashes in. A vicious fight erupts, the Goblin gets hold of Peter, and high above, in a control room, a man watches every second. Kingpin. And he switches the collider on anyway. The explosion is enormous. Reality flickers. When the dust clears, Spider-Man is on the ground, badly hurt. Miles runs to him. Peter presses a small USB drive into his hand, the only thing that can shut this machine down, and makes him promise to finish it. Miles promises. Peter tells him to run. And then Kingpin walks over, and right in front of Miles's eyes, he kills Spider-Man. Sit with that. Miles has had powers for 1 day, and he just watched the greatest hero alive die at his feet, holding the one thing that could stop the man who did it. He runs. The Prowler hunts him through the tunnels. He barely escapes, and when he stumbles through his front door, his parents just stare. Miles explains nothing. He just asks if he can stay home tonight. By morning, the city is broken. Every channel is running the same story. Spider-Man is dead. Miles can't function. He buys a cheap Spider-Man costume off a street vendor and goes to the memorial, where Peter's wife, Mary Jane, says goodbye in front of thousands of people in the mask. Standing there, Miles realizes something terrifying. Someone has to pick this up. Maybe him. So he trains. Sort of. He climbs to a rooftop, looks down, gets ready to swing, and freezes. Fear wins. He falls, and on the way down, the drive gets destroyed. So now the promise is broken and the key is gone. Wrecked, Miles goes to Peter Parker's grave to apologize to a dead man. That's when he hears footsteps behind him. He panics and swings first. The guy hits the dirt hard, and when Miles looks closer, his brain short-circuits. The man is wearing a Spider-Man suit. But Spider-Man is dead. Miles watched it happen. So who is this? His name is Peter B. Parker, and he isn't from here. When the collider fired, it ripped him out of his universe and dumped him into this one. Except this Peter is nothing like the guy on the posters. Older, exhausted, out of shape, personal life in ruins. 22 years in the mask, and it did not go how he planned. The jump knocks him out cold, and Miles has to drag a grown man across the city before anyone notices. When they finally sit down, they face the impossible truth. Spider-Man isn't one person. There are more. Miles admits the drive is gone. Peter shrugs, they'll build another. They just have to break into Kingpin's lab first. Peter tells Miles to wait outside. Absolutely not. Miles has already watched one Spider-Man die, so he sneaks in anyway. Inside, they meet a scientist, Olivia Octavius. Friendly, brilliant, a little too intense. Remember her? During the mission, Peter notices something strange. Miles' spider gave him abilities no other spider-person has. Under pressure, he doesn't just stick to walls, he vanishes. Completely invisible. He uses it to slip into their systems, then fails instantly because he has no clue how to hack anything. So he improvises. He rips the entire computer out of the wall and runs. Meanwhile, Olivia gets a good look at Peter B. and stops cold because this world Spider-Man is supposed to be in the ground. She scans him, his cells are falling apart. He doesn't belong here, and the longer he stays, the closer he gets to dying. Then she reveals who she really is. Mechanical arms explode out of her back. She's this universe's Dr. Octopus, and she wants him dead. Miles slips out invisible with the hardware while Peter fights for his life. They barely make it outside, and she's right behind them until another Spider-Person swings in. Gwen Stacy. Miles recognizes her instantly, the new girl from his school, the hair girl, but she was never a student. In her universe, she was the one the spider bit, and she became Spider-Woman. The Collider stranded her here too. Then we find out why Kingpin built this thing, and it's genuinely sad. Years ago, his wife and son walked in while he was beating Spider-Man half to death. They saw the monster he really was, ran, and died in a car crash escaping him. Ever since, he's been sure that somewhere in the multiverse, another version of his family is still breathing. He'll burn the world down to hold them again. Gwen leads them to the last place left, Peter Parker's house. Aunt May takes one look at Peter B. and knows he isn't hers. Then she smiles, tells them they took long enough, and opens a hidden lab under the house packed with spider tech. And they're not alone. Spider-Man Noir, a black and white detective from the 1930s who's never seen color. Peni Parker, a genius kid from the future who pilots a robot with her spider. And Spider-Ham, a cartoon pig. Different worlds, same story. One spider, one bite, one life flipped upside down. Then Peter B. explains the catch. To send everyone home, someone has to stay behind and destroy the Collider, and whoever stays isn't coming back. Miles volunteers instantly, and they tell him no, not cruelly. Honestly, he can't control his powers. He can't survive Kingpin's army. He's a kid, and they've all buried people already. It's the truth, and it crushes him. He leaves. He can't talk to his parents. He's been vanishing for days. So he goes to the one person who never judges him, Uncle Aaron. He reaches the apartment, hears movement inside, and hides. Someone walks in. It's the Prowler, and Miles watches him lift off the helmet. It's Aaron, the man who took him to that tunnel, the man who told him he had talent. He's been on Kingpin's payroll the whole time, and he was in that room the night Peter died. Miles backs away and knocks something over. All Aaron sees is a small Spider-Man creeping around his apartment. He has no idea it's his nephew, so he hunts him. Miles barely escapes back to May's hideout and blurts out the truth. The Prowler is his uncle. And then the front door blows off its hinges. Kingpin's entire crew pours in. Prowler, Scorpion, Tombstone, Dr. Octopus. The hideout becomes a war zone, and the Prowler wants one target. He corners Miles, weapon raised. It's over, and Miles pulls off his mask. Aaron freezes. His eyes go wide, and he whispers his nephew's name. And Kingpin, watching, orders him to finish it. Aaron can't. He won't. So Kingpin shoots him. Miles grabs his uncle and runs. But the wound is too deep, and Aaron knows it. In his last moments, he tells Miles to keep his secret, and tells him he's proud of him. And he dies in his nephew's arms. Then it gets worse. Miles's father, Officer Jefferson Davis, arrives with the police and sees a masked kid over a body. He draws his weapon and shouts. Miles turns invisible and vanishes. Moments later, Jefferson finds his brother and decides Spider-Man did it. Miles goes home hollow. The others come one last time and repeat the plan. Peter B. stays behind, everyone else goes home, Miles stays out of it. So they web him to a chair and leave with the device. Alone in that room, he asks the only question that matters. Who is he? Then his father stands on the other side of his bedroom door. Jefferson has no idea Spider-Man is sitting right there. He just starts talking. He admits he doesn't always know what to say. Then he tells his son that whatever he chooses to become, please don't shut him out, because he's proud of him and always will be. Something snaps into place. Miles doesn't have to be the next Peter Parker. He just has to be Miles. Bioelectricity crackles through him and the webbing shreds apart. He goes to May's hideout, takes the new suit, and makes it his own. Black and red, spray-painted, unmistakably him. Then he steps off the top of a skyscraper. And this time he doesn't fall. Across the city, the others have already snuck into Kingpin's tower during a gala honoring the late Peter Parker, packed with guests in Spider-Man outfits, which makes blending in almost too easy. They reach the collider chamber, and Olivia hits them hard. Then Miles lands, and they all see it immediately. This is not the scared kid they left tied up. The final battle detonates. Doc Ock, Scorpion, Tombstone all at once. But Miles is finally in control, and at the perfect moment he slams the override into the machine. One by one, the portals open. Noir, Peni, and Spider-Ham head home. Gwen gives him a smile and returns to her world. And this city is left with exactly one Spider-Man. Peter B. wants to stay and finish it, but Miles tells him the truth. Stay and you die. Peter doesn't argue. He can finally see that Miles doesn't need him anymore. Then Kingpin arrives, and Miles shoves Peter into the portal, sending him home. Now it's a kid against a mountain. As reality tears open around them, Kingpin finally sees it. His wife, his son, alive, right there. And they look at him with pure terror. They don't see a husband or a father. They see the monster he became chasing them. He loses his mind, ripping the building apart and hurling it at Miles. Miles gets hit like a freight train over and over, bruised, barely standing, but quitting isn't an option anymore. So he waits. He picks his moment, slips one attack, and unloads every volt in his body into Kingpin. Kingpin drops. The collider dies. The city lives. And down below, Jefferson watches all of it. He doesn't know who's under the mask, but he knows exactly what he's looking at. A hero. Afterward, Miles knows his dad must be terrified. So he finds him one last time in the suit and just hugs him. Jefferson doesn't understand why, but he holds on anyway. A father and a son, and only one of them knows. Peter Parker's story ended. Miles Morales's just began. Because that's the whole point. The mask was never the power. Anybody can wear it. And Miles proved it. Now listen, you made it to the end, which means you enjoyed this. And I know most of you are about to click away without doing the one small thing that keeps this channel breathing. Don't be that person. If this was worth your time, hit subscribe. It's free and takes 2 seconds. And drop a comment. Which Spider-Man was your favorite, Miles, Gwen, Peter B., Noir, Peni, or Spider-Ham? I read every one. If you scroll past without saying a word, I'll assume you didn't care. Prove me wrong.